Let us discuss about some of the common features. Okay. There is hemolysis means loss of hemoglobin. So total hemoglobin value will be less. So these patients will have anemia. Okay. There is hemolysis. So this hemoglobin is going to metabolize, and hemoglobin is metabolized in the bilirubin. So bilirubin will be high in these cases. So there will be high bilirubin, and high bilirubin present clinically as jaundice, icterus. Okay. If there is hemolysis, more and more bilirubin, more and more pigment is produced and excreted by the liver. So if it's super saturate the bile, then it will lead to the formation of stone. So these patients are having more propensity to develop gallstone, and that is a pigment type. Gallstone is a many types, no? So it will be a pigment. Okay. There is hemolysis, and hemolysis occurs in the designated places. Hemolysis occurs in the reticuloendothelial system and mostly in the spleen. That is why spleen is known as graveyard of RBC. So if function of spleen is increased, if the load over spleen is increased, spleen will increase in the size, and it will lead to the splenomegaly. But it is not true for every hemolytic anemia. Can you name one hemolytic anemia where there is no splenomegaly? We have already studied. In sickle cell anemia, there is autosplenectomy because these sickle cells are causing micro infarctions, and over period of time, this spleen will be whole ischemic and it is contracted. So functional loss of spleen. Okay. Apart from that, if there is hemolysis, the bone marrow is expanding. If bone marrow is expanding, then it will be lead to the some of the cytoskeletal changes. Like we have studied in the X-ray finding of thalassemia, where there is a hair and in appearance on skull X-ray. Okay. Apart from that, if this compensation of bone marrow is not adequate, erythropoiesis take place at the extramedullary site. And two most common extramedullary sites are spleen and liver. So spleen and liver will be enlarged. Making sense? Okay. Let us discuss about the lab features. So there are two things going on in hemolytic patient. First is hemolysis, and second is compensation to the hemolysis. If there is hemolysis, body try to increase the production of RBC. So the lab features can be divided for understanding into two parts. The features due to the hemolysis and features due to the increased erythropoietic activity. If erythropoietic activity is increased, means reticulocyte count will increase. Everyone agrees with it. Reticulocyte count will increase. Say it percentage or say it absolute number of. Reticulocytes are larger in size. If their number increases, what is MCV? MCV is the mean corpuscular volume. So all the RBCs are taken together, then it is divided by the total number of RBCs. It will give you the mean of corpuscular volume. If reticulocytes are relatively immature cells, the number is more, so the average size of whole RBC will increase because reticulocyte counts are high. So these patients who are having hemolytic anemia will have relatively more MCV, means mean corpuscular volume will be high. So this can confuse with the macrocytic anemia, and the cause of macrocytic anemia most commonly is B12 deficiency. B12 deficiency. But one thing you can remember, if MCV is more than 116, then it is mostly B12 deficiency. In hemolytic anemia, you get MCV in the range of 100 to 106. not more than that. Because this increase in the MCV is due to the reticulocytes, and these reticulocytes are having a definite number. Not every RBC is reticulocyte. Okay. Reticulocytes are immature cells, so it may contain some RNAs. RNA can be there, na? If you stain it, you may get multiple colors. So it is polychromasia. Okay. Some of the immature cell are released. This is known as shift to right. Means some of the immature cell are released in the circulation, and these immature cell will be nucleated. So some of the nucleated cell may be seen. Or other implication is some of the inclusion bodies are formed in some of the hemoglobinopathy, like we have seen in the thalassemia, where these inclusion bodies are known as Hin's bodies, and this give a appearance of target. So these cells were known as target cell. Okay, okay. Another feature is hemolysis. We have described the two sites of hemolysis. Okay, first is intravascular and extravascular. Most of the time, hemolysis is extravascular. So, if you ask, you have been asked by someone, in intravascular and extravascular hemolysis, which site is more likely? Then it is extravascular if it is more likely, because this is something natural. It is naturally occurring inside the body. Okay. If there is extravascular hemolysis, means RBCs are going to the reticuloendothelial cell and destroyed there. Okay. If RBCs are destroyed, then it will lead to the increase in the hemoglobin metabolism. So it will lead to the increase in the bilirubin. Thus, enzymes inside the RBC will release. Two liver enzymes you have read, SGOT and SGPT. Our other name is AST and ALT. So ALT is something very particular for liver, but AST is present in many cells. Another name for AST is SGOT. PT is ALT, which is liver. L for liver. Okay, and these OT is many cell content. So these RBC also contain SG, this AST, SGOT. So SGOT will increase. These RBCs are also containing lactate dehydrogenase. So lactate dehydrogenase will also increase. Though there is a difference in the increase in the extra and intravascular, we'll see. Okay. If there is intravascular hemolysis, hemoglobin will be released in the plasma. Hemoglobin are very small, so it will be filtered by RBC and excreted in the urine. So there will be hemoglobin urea. But hemoglobin is urine. So let us look into the features. So in the hemolysis, the causes can be many, including intra and extra corpuscular causes. It will lead to the destruction of RBC. If RBC is destroyed, body will try to compensate this by increasing erythropoietic activity. And if there is increase in the erythropoiesis, we have studied, there will be increase in the reticulocyte count. If marrow or extra sites will be recruited, like liver and spleen, then it will increase. So there will be expansion of bone marrow, leading to the fracture we have studied in thalassemia, na? Pathological fracture and end on hair on end on hair appearance. Okay, hair on end appearance. And hematopoiesis at extramedullary site we just studied lead to the hepatosplenomegaly. Okay, if there is destruction of RBC, it will lead to the hemoglobin will decrease. First thing, and the enzymes inside the RBC will release in the blood. So the LDH will increase and SGOT will increase. Okay, and this destruction can be Two type we studied. Either site is intravascular or extravascular. Intravascular means RBCs are lodged inside the plasma or inside the blood. Extravascular matlab these RBC are getting lodged inside the reticuloendothelial system, that is spleen. Okay. In intravascular hemolysis, this hemoglobin will be free in the plasma. So there can be three fate of this free hemoglobin. This free hemoglobin binds to something known as hepatoglobin. Hepatoglobin is a protein, binding protein synthesized by the liver. So hemoglobin will bind with a hepatoglobin, forming hemoglobin hepatoglobin complex. Okay, and this complex is cleared by the liver. So if hemoglobin and hepatoglobin complex is being taken, being uptake by the liver and getting lyzed, then hepatoglobin will increase or decrease. This hemoglobin and hepatoglobin have been complexed and it is being destroyed inside the liver. So this hepatoglobin will increase or decrease? Decrease, because it is getting lyzed. So one of the feature of the intravascular hemolysis will be decrease in the hepatoglobin. Got it? Where this decrease in the hepatoglobin comes? This is a free protein synthesized by the liver. It binds to the free hemoglobin, not RBC. Free hemoglobin. Then it is uptaken by the liver and destroyed. So hepatoglobin will be decreased. And if there is severe hemolysis, it can be zero. It can be absent. Okay. Second, hemoglobin contain iron in the ferrous form, 2+ form. If it is free in the plasma, it gets oxidized to the 3+ form. And if hemoglobin containing iron in the ferric form, it is known as methemoglobin. It will lead to the formation of methemoglobin. And this methemoglobin can be excreted through the kidney. If methemoglobin is excreted in the kidney, is known as methnuria. Means methemoglobin in the urine can be one of the things. Methemoglobinuria. Okay, got it? Okay. Second, this methemoglobin can bind to the albumin. So methalbumin, it is nothing but methemoglobin plus albumin. Methemoglobin is free in the plasma. It binds to the albumin. It is known as methalbumin. So methalbumin will increase or decrease? Increase, will be present. Got it? Third can be this free hemoglobin are small, so it can be filtered through the kidney. So it can directly appear in the urine, known as hemoglobin in urine. That is, hemoglobinuria will be the feature. So intravascular, the most sure sign is appearance of hemoglobin in the urine. As soon as there is an intravascular hemolysis, hemoglobin appear in the urine. Okay, this hemoglobin crosses the glomerular membrane, then it go to the tubules, where it get internalized by the endothelial cells. Okay, and hemoglobin is stored in the form of hemosiderin. So it will be converted. Hemosiderin was amorphous material composed of many things. We have studied now, ferritin and hemosiderin. Hemosiderin is amorphous. So it is deposited inside the endothelial cells in renal tubules. Okay. The lifespan, this renal epithelium of renal tubules get some injury with this free iron, free hemoglobin. Due course of time, these endothelium will be slugged. It is normally happening. Hyaline cast appears because of that only. It is normally present. So it is normally slugging off. If it contains hemosiderin inside it and it is slugging off, then hemosiderin will appear in the urine. And if hemosiderin appear, it is known as hemosiderin in urine. Matlab hemosideриnuria. Okay, got it? This is how intravascular hemolysis occurs, and these are the investigation can be done to ascertain it. Okay, if you ask most specific, you will answer hemoglobinuria. Okay, so intravascular hemolysis, there is free hemoglobin, it will bind to the hepatoglobin, means hepatoglobin will decrease. Okay, then it will be converted into the in the oxidation, it will be converted into methemoglobin. This methemoglobin can bind to the albumin, so albumin will present and it can be filtered in the urine, so this meth hemoglobinuria will be there, or this can be directly filtered in the kidney and present in the urine, is known as hemoglobinuria, or it can be engulfed by the RBC then converted into hemosiderin, then it will present in the urine, is known as hemosideruria. So hemosideruria takes some time to appear in the urine, but hemoglobinuria will appear as soon as hemolysis is there. Got it? Now the extravascular hemolysis. So most common site is spleen. So most common feature will be splenomegaly. There is extravascular hemolysis, means this hemoglobin is not being lost. So these will get metabolized into bilirubin. So bilirubin will be relatively more in extravascular or intravascular? Extravascular. Okay. Apart from that, this will be conjugated or unconjugated? Predominantly unconjugated. Okay. Initially, hey, पढ़ लो भाई, तो मैं नहीं पढ़ना मत आया करो, बहुत मेहनत से पढ़ा रहा हूं ना, तो पढ़ लो. तो कहा थे हम लोग, हाँ, bilirubin will be formed and this will be unconjugated. Okay, but initially when it is being formed, so the conjugating capacity of liver is not saturated, so initially this conjugated component will increase. Then due course of time, when more and more bilirubin is being released by hemolysis, it will exceed the conjugation capacity of liver. So unconjugated will be high, but there also will be conjugated. So these conjugated will be excreted in the bile. It will go to the stool and it will get reabsorbed in the form of bilinogen. And if this appear in the urine, it is one of the component is known as urobilinogen, because it is appearing in the urine, and if appear in the stool, it is known as stercobilin. So these stercobilin in stool and urobilinogen in urine both will be increased. Okay. So after understanding this whole concept, tell me one answer. What will be the effect of extra and intravascular hemolysis over iron status? आराम से सोच के कोई लोग बता दो, जो भी बताना चाहे. आयरन स्टेटस पे क्या फर्क पड़ेगा? यस, एक्स्ट्रावेस्कुलर में क्या होगा? आयरन इंक्रीज होगा, आयरन ओवरलोड होगा. कितने लोग अग्री करते हैं इस बात को कि एक्स्ट्रावेस्कुलर में आयरन इंक्रीज होगा, ओवरलोड होगा, कम होगा? ओके. तो एक्स्ट्रावेस्कुलर में कितने लोग एग्री कर रहे हैं कि आयरन विल बी लेस? कोई नहीं. डिसएग्री कितने लोग कर रहे हैं? कोई नहीं. कोई मतलब नहीं. चलिए बात करते हैं. ब्लड लॉस मीन्स आरबीसी लॉस, आरबीसी लॉस मीन्स hemoglobin loss, hemoglobin loss means iron loss. In intravascular hemolysis, there is hemoglobinuria, methemoglobinuria. In each form, iron is being lost in the urine. So, in intravascular hemolysis, if you measure iron, it will be like iron deficiency. Maybe total iron may be low, TIBC may be high, and serum ferritin may be less. Okay. But in extravascular hemolysis, so in intravascular hemolysis, there is iron deficiency, relative iron deficiency. In extravascular hemolysis, as he said, there is overload, because in extravascular hemolysis, these cells are being lysed outside the RBC. There is no loss of hemoglobin anywhere. Agree, na? So this iron is going to reutilize, and these patients are going to need blood transfusion. If you are transfusing blood, means you are transfusing RBC, means you are transfusing hemoglobin, means you are giving iron injection. It is like same, na? So due course of time, these people develop iron overload. So in extravascular hemolysis, if you look for the iron profile, it will be secondary iron overload, and in the intravascular it will be iron deficient. So classically you have some of the university questions. One question is write difference between भाई फेंक दूंगा बाहर. One question is short note, write difference between intravascular and extravascular hemolysis. This is very frequently asked question, and in Bible they are also asking this. What is the difference between intravascular hemolysis and extravascular hemolysis? So the things in above this will be same, means these are having decrease in the hemoglobin, these are having increase in the LDH, these are having increase in the AST, increase in the reticulocyte count. It is comparable, it is same in both, but the things changes below this. This intravascular hemolysis will have decrease in the hepatoglobin or absent hepatoglobin, methemoglobinuria, methalbumin, hemoglobinuria and hemosideruria. Okay, what about bilirubin? Bilirubin in intravascular hemolysis. The hemoglobin formed is being lost. Some part are being lost in the urine. So less and less hemoglobin will be available for converting into the bilirubin. So rise in the bilirubin will be very low. There will be mild jaundice in these cases, intravascular type. And extravascular it will be predominant feature. So in extravascular, these all will be absent, and only the bilirubin will be relatively higher than the intravascular. You can write now this difference. And one additional point you never find in any book, iron status. You can write iron overload in the extravascular and iron deficiency in the. So this is, you are getting it. It is visible. So hematological feature, it can be in blood film, there will be polychromasia because of reticulocyte. Total reticulocyte count will be high in both. The features in the upper part of the diagram. Bone marrow will be, there will be erythroid hyperplasia or not? Because there is compensation to the hemolysis, no? So there will be erythroid hyperplasia. Okay. Bilirubin will be high, but it will be higher in the extravascular. Yes. Hepatoglobin will be low in intravascular. Intravascular, low or absent. Okay. Free hemoglobin in plasma will be present in the intravascular. Okay. LDH will be high, release in both, but it will somehow, if hemolysis is inside the blood, it will be relatively higher value, na, because we are estimating the plasma LDH only. Okay. In urine, bilirubin will be present in both, but hemoglobinuria will be in intravascular. Methemoglobinuria will be in, hemosideruria will be in. It is that easy. And what about the iron status? It is iron deficiency in intravascular, but iron overload in the. This is general feature. Next day we will take the inherited causes of hemolytic anemia, where we have already discussed hemoglobinopathy. So our basic focus will be in enzymopathies and the membrane cytoskeletal defect.